I grew up confused about my culture and identity and felt out of place most of the time until I found comedy, which forced me to be honest with myself, and I realized mostly I'm just an expat brat. Welcome to my show. I'm Salman. Hey, welcome back, guys. If you haven't caught up on the last episode of mine, then you might not know that we ended that last episode on a very, very delicate cliffhanger. You see, what happened was I had ordered this fridge for my wife, and because our old one, it just conked out, kind of. Well, it didn't conk out. Here's another thing. Before there's a lot of stuff going around. I got to catch it all. Our fridge conked out. It was starting to freeze up and stuff. And I thought, let's buy a new one to replace this because I was sick of losing food, or you know what I mean. And what else does a fridge do? Anyway, I digress. The fridge, then we decide I'm going to buy a new fridge, and my wife brings up this lifelong dream of hers of having a fridge that does crushed ice. Not just ice cubes, not a water dispenser, crushed ice. All right. So then I go, all right, cool. Let me find something that does that. And you know what? This is for people who don't know. It turns out getting one with crushed ice is very hard. It's very few. There are very few options out there. There are very few models that do it. They'll do cubed ice. They'll do water. Water you can do. Water, there are loads of fridge that have water dispensers in them. But crushed ice, my friend, there were few and far between. And then the other problem was the way our kitchen is set up. The fridge area is limited. It's a slot that kind of has two walls on the side, so it's not like I can go beyond this particular size of it. And that was another problem then, because amongst the few options of crushed ice fridge that I had, there were few that fit into the space that I have. So you see, this is like a math problem that has to be solved by some ninth grader or something. All right. And just so you know, I was never good at math. So this problem already became very complicated. I never expanded beyond sixth grade math or something. Maybe I'm being generous by even saying that much. All right. So here's the situation. Here's what happened. Right. So then I find one model, and it's on this website. It also has like a deal going on it. So I order it, and it's supposed to be delivered on a day. It doesn't show up. I hear nothing from those guys. Then I follow up the next day. They're like, we'll get back to you. It's going to happen. Don't hear back. Then the third day, they're like, it's going to be delivered today. In the daytime, like between 12 and 4, I hear nothing from the delivery guys, and I'm panicking. I'm like, I should have gone through Amazon. I should have paid the extra 10% or whatever and have it delivered on time and peace of mind. But now it's also this model that I've not heard of. It's a company called Gorenge. Like I said, there were very few options with crushed ice. And Gorenge, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's Gorenge. It's some European model, but I looked up online and it's got like good reviews and stuff. So, but it's not common out here in the UAE, so I don't know the brand. Or maybe it was a website that just told me it's great and I believed it. God, I got to stop believing everything on the internet, right? Anywho, there's all this going on, and I don't hear from the delivery guys. And I wanted to surprise my wife. This whole time, she doesn't know that I've ordered a crushed ice fridge. She thinks I've just ordered a normal one. And I'll tell you, I was smug inside, but I was also just dying to tell her because I cannot keep a secret, and I need to blurt out things. I'm very impulsive. I had to maybe down 10 times my daily dose of Concerta. That's the ADHD pill that I take to stop myself from. No, I didn't actually take 10. Please don't do that. But that's how I felt. I had to constantly stop myself from blurting out, "Hey, I got a crushed ice fridge." And I just waited and waited. And finally, and then she left to go out. And I was like, damn, now she's not going to see it till she comes back. And then she was about to come back and the fridge hadn't been delivered. I wanted it all set up before she came back. So surprise, right? Instead, they delivered just shortly before she's back home. So I couldn't set it up, but she did walk in and see it, and she was really happy. I've never seen her more happier. Not even, I think, on our wedding day, which is a little worrying, but we've been just having a great time with crushed ice. I have to say, I've converted to it too. I just pour crushed ice all the time now to drink anything, you know. I think I made hot coffee and put some crushed ice the other day. I don't know. It's awesome. Not just cubed, not just water. Crushed ice, my friends. I can say I totally crushed it. Even my sister-in-law, I went over the other day after the fridge thing, and she just turned to me and she said, Salman, I can't think of something more romantic you could have done for my sister, and well done on that. And I have to say, I was just like, wow, this is awesome. This is really great. I didn't know my wife was that easy. I'm just glad she's really happy about it. But just so you know, I gave our old fridge to someone, my nanny's friend. I gave it away. I was just like, it's not working. I don't know if you guys want to get it fixed or whatever. And they just thawed it out, and now it's working fine. And I'm like, shit, I didn't have to spend this money. I could have just got it fixed. But that's the saga, my friends. So for those of you who were waiting this whole time for me to tell you, yes, she loved it. Yes, she was surprised. Yes, I got it on time. It was set up properly. It's been working great. And I myself am a convert to crushed ice. So there you go. I think every house needs one. Every house. You just never know. You don't know till you know how much crushed ice you need all the time. All right. And there are times just walking by, even my kiddo just like looks at it and he just presses, watches the crushed ice come out. I just really need to teach him to use a glass to catch the crushed ice, but he just enjoys. I think he thinks it's like snowfall or something, and that's the closest he'll get to it if we continue living in the city. Yeah, he's been to ski Dubai, but that's not snowfall. Anyway, my point is he got to see crushed ice. He loves playing with it too, and the fridge is nice too. I'm not paid to review this or anything, but it's actually quite a solid fridge, man. Lots of space and well set up. Oh, it's also got like this app, so now I can change the temperature on the freezer side. It's one of those 2-door things. So the freezer is like on the left and the normal fridge side is on the right. All of it, right? Like top to bottom. And so the freezer side is quite big too. And it just, I got an app where anytime I want to change the temperature on it, it's connected to my Wi-Fi. I can just change it there. I don't know how often in one's life you need to do that, but it's there as an option and I love it. I could just go, I need to freeze something up right now. Drop the temp, use that app, and it's there. And it's, why is it there? I don't know. I think, I paid good money for it. So I like the fact that it's there. It also has like a little alarm if the door's left open for like more than 2 or 3 minutes, then it does like a beep, which, when you have a young kid, that kind of helps too. And, it doesn't need a key. It's got like a passcode you can put on to lock the fridge. This is so high tech. I think I'm enjoying the fridge more than when I got my iPhone last time or something. I mean, it's a bit of a stretch, but it's up there, it's up there. So I'm quite proud, as you can tell, about this fridge. Anyway, there are more exciting things I'm sure going around in your life too. But this fridge, wow, I got a good life. There's actually something more important happening in my life. Is my kid, Zayan, he's got delayed in speech. And at one point, I wasn't sure if he's going to be nonverbal or whatnot. But now he started, he's been doing speech therapy and school and stuff. And I think just being around other kids, he's starting to talk. And it's so awesome. It's seeing someone like discover it. I think you kind of miss it because I've seen my sister's kids and other kids like develop speech. And it's always cute. But it's at a normal time. And you expect it. And it just grows a certain way. And it's actually kind of cute to see my kid doing it because he's almost 6, so he's starting to speak now more, and he's putting together 2-3 word sentences. He's using language correctly. Before it seemed like just memorized words and stuff, but what I find cute is the fact that he's kind of discovered his voice. He doesn't speak the words; he screams them out like excitedly. So everything is like excitement. Like he just goes, "Daddy, it's not daddy, it's daddy." And he wants to go out. He's like, "Let's go, let's go." It's almost like he's listening to his voice going, "This is really cool. It's exciting, man." And I just love seeing him go through this bit. It really is very, very cool to watch, and I'm just grateful that he's doing this. But he also has a mocking tone, which makes it even funnier because every so often, if I'm trying to call him, like I'll be like, Zion, Zion, or I'm trying to stop him, and it's like a stricter tone I try with him, and I'm like, Zion, and he just goes, Zion, Zion, Zion. And I can tell it's a mocking tone. And I both am pleased with his ability to do that now, but also like, shut up, kid. I'd smack you if you weren't like autistic and a little bit more delicate or whatever. I think that's another hard bit I've mentioned before with when your kids a little different or whatever, and you just neurodivergent, and you just kind of have to be careful about like, how do you not that I would ever smack a kid, but it's just that question comes into my mind. It's even worse if I do it with him. But why is it worse? You're mocking me right now too, Anyway, fridge, my kids talking, some great exciting stuff. It just got me to a good place right now. Work's been busy. Summer's almost over. Life is looking up. It's let me talk about something else. This has been bugging me a lot too. I do a lot of improv, and for those of you who don't do any improv theater or don't know what the hell I'm talking about, then why are you listening to this podcast? What are you doing here? But if you do or know anything about improv, apart from Whose Line Is It Anyway, or even if you know that, it basically is like, us jumping on stage, making up stuff on the spot, working with someone else to create magic, comedy or stories or whatever the hell you're aiming to do in that moment. Mine's usually just create some fun, I guess. But the thing is, if you ever go, I do think improv is this development thing every person should do. It's life changing. It really is. I'm not pitching people towards improv. I really do think it builds some great people skills for you. So there's one thing though I've been battling with, and it's this whole idea of like every improv troupe has this blind, almost cult-like thing of saying yes and the idea is great. It's something that appeals to me in theory a lot. What it basically means is that you if someone has created an idea, you don't block it away, you don't destroy the idea, but rather you come to it and approach it with let me not just say yes to your idea, but also build it. So that's a yes, and on top of that, like I want to build something on top of it. And you'd be surprised how hard it is to teach this sometimes to people who will do anything but to collaborate with people. And so I like that it's a battle. I see why it might have come through, because people, naturally might want to take over sometimes, different personalities. Some people will shy away from making any commitments. And this tool really kind of gets people thinking in that way. Now, it's a great thing, but it's, in recent times when I look at it, I just feel like it is a bit of a cult thing. It comes from practitioners like Keith Johnston and Del Close and stuff. But my problem these days with it is this. All right, hear me out. When I like the thought that when I'm working with someone else on stage, I try to be more yes and, because it'll help us get to creating a story and not get into this rotation or cycle of rejecting each other's ideas and not really building anything then, and not working well together, because you just kind of start going, well, you blocked my idea, I don't really care about yours. It gets confrontational pretty fast, right? Now, that's great in theory again, and when I'm with someone, I can control what I do, and part of my problem with it is this whole thing of yes and sounds like something everyone should do, but that's not how life works. and you can't control other people's behaviors. So people will say no. And this, it's almost like this thing is, when it goes to an extreme, which it does, right? Where people just take something and then take it to the other extreme. It sounds like we're now getting scared of any no's at all. Like no is evil. No will destroy the essence of improv and humanity or something along those lines. And my whole thing with it is this. It's sorry, I know I'm doing a lot of like walking through this and stuff, but I'm trying to like voice it so you're clear and I'm clear, and I get my point across. So just yes and me, please. You're gonna have people say no. This fear of people saying no is creating this like extreme version where any kind of no is looked frowned upon in some instances, and new people learning improv often go to that extreme where they're like, oh, but you said no to this. And I don't think life is fair that way either. Like the fact that someone is inexperienced and they're up on stage and they might suggest something that is terrible or unsafe or just not, they're not in their whole senses because they're worried and new and stuff. And for me to yes and that might actually be a worse off thing than taking it away to somewhere else. And I don't know. You start sounding like you're justifying your own idea over, and that's why I'm always a little worried. But here's the other part of it, right? I think when someone says no, you gotta remember this. It means they feel unsafe. It's not just about the choice right in that moment, but it's about the fact that they are in their own selves. Probably, there's a strong chance, probably, they're worried and unsafe, feeling unsafe, and not trusting you completely, right? That's what it is. It's if I've tried taking someone along with me and they say no to me, to my idea on stage, and in life, I guess, then it does mean I haven't made them feel safe about it. Because a no, and this came about because I try to teach yes and in corporates and workshops. And one of the exercises I do is I just get them to say no to each other. I get them to say yes just to kind of see how it feels. And when I asked them, how did it feel to say no? What surprised me was the number of times people go, hey, it felt good. And I was like, so I kind of probed these, and it's recurring. So I was like, hey, why? And I get the same answer every time. Well, usually I don't say no. And it felt nice to be able to say no. I felt in control. I felt safer. And those kind of things came out over and over again. And it made me think about it that, no is not inherently evil. And so instead of putting all the onus on both players to suddenly say yes to everything and expect them to put aside all their fears of life and everything and jump off a plane together, it just sounds a little extreme and hard for new people to do, right? And I think the onus should be on, well, if someone's saying no to me, how the angle should be, how do I, and part of it would be me saying yes to them, yes, and to their idea instead, or whatever they're offering, but also acknowledging that, we've got something to build here. And that's hard. So I think warm-ups before shows, warm-up before meetings and stuff, we got to get to a safe place. I got to get these people to feel safe with me. And that changes how I want to approach improv and training and work and performing before we get on stage. And it's not a superficial thing where we do some fun warm-ups, which is, it's great, and we get the energy up and stuff. But to me, it's also, there's a big part of it is like genuine connections and genuinely making them feel real safe with me. All right. And that part is hard, because even if you did that, when you get on stage with someone, even if they're experienced improvisers, there's so much going on. There's personal, they might have some personal stuff going on, right? There's the audience, there's the show, there's the performance, there's the last scene that's just happened, the failure they've just had in the last scene possibly, or made to look like a fool in the last one, or they didn't enjoy it. There is a bunch of, or I might have done something in the last scene that even if they weren't part of it, they watched and went, ugh. And so, there's a whole bunch of things apart from just me, which might make them say no, or get defensive and try to feel safe in the next bit that we're doing. That is hard then, to how do you get all this stuff and go, how do we get really actually deeply collaborative, and that's not as easy as just telling someone, all right, let's both do yes and be great on stage, because I see it failing over and over again. So it's lip service that we're paying it, and at a deeper level we don't understand it, and even when we do, we got to figure out that there's something beyond that as well. So I'm putting this out there. I'm working on this, and I'm trying to figure out what's the best way forward with this. And I may be ostracized by the improv community and the greater gods of improv or gatekeepers or whatever. But I've said it. I said it, my friend. It's something that I really love to develop. Anyway, if you have had no experience with improv, though, I'm going to come back to that as well. And all of this last bit, for some reason, you still listen through the whole thing and you still are here listening. I do want to tell you, you got to try some improv exercises. Do it at work. Do it with your kids. Look it up online and just try a few. You might do it not completely correctly, but you won't lose anything because they're fun games. You'll have a bit of a laugh with whoever you do it with. It's a little bit of a loosener. There's nothing, you could do it anywhere, anytime. A lot of the exercises, there are a bunch of things that you can do with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, 10 people. So there's such a wide variety of options to it that you don't need to necessarily go to an improv class to do it, all right, to discover it. And I think you'll find if you're not someone who's involved in this field, you'll find it translates to everything. Because when you can open your mind up, when you can get into a more creative side to things, when you can be in a more collaborative mode, when you're just more spontaneous, you'll be surprised at what kind of results you get, and they translate into a whole bunch of different things at work. Doesn't matter what industry you're in, doesn't matter what work type you're in, what department you're in, what your role is. I really, truly believe it affects you, all right? And not even just aside from work, in life and with family and friends, it does make a huge difference. And it's not manipulating people. It's not about like tricking people. It really is, if you do it right, you'll realize the changes happen to you and naturally. And that is just an awesome thing that this thing does, all right? So give it a go. Leave me a comment if you have questions about this, because I've been doing it for a while, and I really do believe in the work it does for you. And tell me how you felt. And if you have no idea how to get started and you don't want to search online, again, drop me a message. More than happy to take people through on how to just go about it, no matter where you are in the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was my fridge, my kid, and my yes and theory. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode. I gotta get going. I had a lot of fun recording this one, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on another adventure with the Expat Brat, proudly brought to you by Capper Productions. If you enjoyed the show, please help us keep the mic running by clicking the link in the description and dropping as little as $3 to support us. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on our latest episodes.